Hi Aries, welcome to June. This is Teresa from Tarot by T. And this month we have a full moon in Sagittarius, which is favorable to your sign. Venus moves into Leo on the 6th. And then Mercury moves into Gemini on the 11th, and then into Cancer on the 27th. Saturn goes retrograde on the 17th, and then we have a new moon in Gemini on the 18th. And then on the 30th, Neptune goes retrograde. And we'll talk about that later. Let's see what the cards say for Aries. What does Aries need to know about love and relationships for the month of June? What is coming up for Aries this month? What is coming up for Aries? For June 2023. What does Aries need to know? The Death card. The Seven of Wands. The Eight of Pentacles. The Nine of Wands. The Eight of Cups. The Lovers. The Fool. The Three of Wands. The Seven of Swords. The Two of Swords. And the card at the bottom of the deck is the Five of Cups. Okay, so this is kind of interesting. So the Death card, by the way, it doesn't mean physical death. The death, you're going through a transformation this month. And a part of that transformation is leaving behind the past. Leaving behind something. Leaving something that is just not working anymore, no longer fulfilling. And moving on to something better, something new. A new cycle is coming in. You've got the Fool here. The Death is about realizing that a certain cycle of your life, we live, a lot of times we have a pattern that controls our lives. We have this familiar habit and pattern, and we just keep repeating. It's like, wash, rinse, repeat. And you don't even realize you're in that rut of a pattern. But when the Death shows up, it's time to break that pattern. The Death is about releasing the past, releasing a cycle that's no longer fulfilling, that's no longer serving you. And it could be the way we approach the world in relationships. It could even be a relationship that has ended, but you never let it go. It's still influencing you today, in the present. And the Death is about putting it to bed, putting the past to bed, and clearing that energy out for the new to make room for the new to come in, that new energy. I mean, if you look at this card, there's a guy in the background putting a rose on a tombstone. So it's kind of like saying, yeah, I know that relationship ended a long time. Like, it's dead. It's done. But you have to bless it for what it meant to you. Bless it for what it taught you. Bless it for everything that you experienced that made you into the person you are today. And then release it. Let it go. Let go of the past. And it could be, I'm not saying that you're breaking up with someone. It could be a past relationship from years ago that you just never let go of. But it's influencing your current relationships. It's stopping you from finding fulfillment in the present. So with the Death card, you have to clear out the past. Clear out all that baggage that's standing in the way of a new connection that's coming in here, or there's love in your future, but you have to make room for it. And the first step is clearing out the old. It's kind of like weeding the garden before you plant for spring, you know. That's how I think of death. You know, you're clearing out all the dead leaves and all the dead branches and all the dead plants from last year. And then you're bringing in fresh dirt. And now you have this blank slate and you're planting new seeds. And that are going to grow and flourish. But they can't grow and flourish. You can't plant new seeds in the mess of last winter, you know. All the dead leaves and all the dead. There's no room for it to grow. It'll just die. So you have this Seven of Wands crossing this. Seven of Wands is about standing your ground, setting boundaries, fighting for what you believe in, also overcoming obstacles. If you've had any obstacles that have stood in the way of romance or relationship, you can overcome it. You can overcome this past, your past, and create a new future. You have the Eight of Pentacles. This is about taking a new direction in life. Starting at the beginning. It's called the Apprentice card because the person is learning a new skill or taking a new direction in a career path, and they're just at the beginning stages. So you could be at the beginning stages of a relationship too, a new relationship. But I feel that you need to, the struggle is to release the past. Release whatever is preventing you from taking this, from committing to this path. You have the Five of Cups here and the Nine of Wands in the past. You've been struggling. The Nine of Wands is struggle. It's like I've been trying to reach this goal, and maybe you were struggling with letting go of the past, or struggling with a past relationship, or struggling trying to create a new relationship, and you're battle weary with this Nine of Wands. This person's like ready to give up. Like, I can't take the fight. I can't take the struggle. Maybe I don't even need a relationship, you know. Maybe I just need, to be alone for a while. Because you have the Four of Cups here too. And the Four of Cups is a card of boredom, dissatisfaction, feeling that you're not loved or valued in a situation. So if you're in a relationship where you feel like, my partner doesn't really care. I don't feel like they really care about me. Nobody cares about me. I'm just like I'm a slave to everyone. I'm working my butt off. I don't get any rewards. I don't get any acknowledgement. So this is just boredom. But you haven't, and thinking, maybe I should check out what's out there. Maybe I don't have to put up with this. Maybe there's something else better for me out there. But the Four of Cups person, love is being offered to you, but you're not accepting it. You're still holding on. You're still holding out, thinking that something that's not working is going to get fixed miraculously. Like a person, all of a sudden this person's going to change and be different. Or all of a sudden, it's like you don't want to move on. Or you haven't in the past. But you have what's coming up in the future, the Eight of Cups. The Eight of Cups is about walking away from something that's not fulfilling anymore. That's no longer working, no longer fulfilling. Could be maybe if you finally get tired of being undervalued and underappreciated, and you're like, you know what, I'm just going to walk away. I'm going to see what else is out there. But you have this Nine of Wands energy, and sometimes the Nine of Wands says, don't give up. You're so close. You just have, it's like you've been struggling with something, and you're almost ready to achieve something, and then you quit before you win. Or you give up on the project, and you're really close to winning, or to getting what you desire. But I feel like what part of it is the struggle of releasing the past, the struggle of transforming your situation into something new. Which means it's a lot of work, to let go of old habits. It's really hard when you've been, if you've been doing a certain thing a certain way for a long time, for years. Let's say it's like driving a car in in a muddy road, eventually you're in a rut. You can't get out of that groove. It's very hard to create a new groove. So maybe you've been on the verge of giving up making the changes you need to make. But the Eight of Cups is here. It's telling you it's time to move away. The universe wants you to be happy, wants you to feel fulfilled. You don't have to stay in a situation that's not making you happy, that's not giving you what you need. But the problem is you have this Lovers card coming up here. The Lovers is you're having to make a decision. Do I stay or do I go? For some people, it's choosing between two paths. Like if you're dating two people, who do I choose? Do I choose the new person? Do I stick with the old person? If it's a relationship where you're not dating two people, I'm not saying everybody's out there with this third-party situation. But it could be a question of, do I stay and try to make this thing work? Or do I walk away and look for something new? You've got the Fool here. Fool is like a brand new cycle. If you stay, it doesn't let you off the hook. You still have to do the work. And even if you decide, you know what, I don't want to do the work, I want to move on to something new. A lot of people do that. They don't want to change who they are. And they think I just need a new person. I don't need to do anything with me. It's just that other, you blame the other person. But sometimes it's not the other person. It's never just the other person. It takes two to tango. So you can't blame the other person for all your problems. You have to take responsibility for your part in it. And if you want to make a relationship work, you may have to make some changes, some core changes within yourself to make this situation change. Because otherwise, what happens? You take your baggage to the next person. And then you have the same problems with the new person. So you're dealing with the same dynamic, you just have a new face, a new name, but it's the same issue. So it's much better to solve the issue or your part of it and make something, unless you're really in an intolerable situation, But for the most part, relationships are not easy. And a lot of times, and it's hard to make real change within yourself. It's hard to see where you need to change. It's easier to blame the other person. So a lot of people do that. But this Lovers card, the person you're dealing with is someone that's very significant in your life. And your life may not be the same without this person in it. So think carefully before you walk away. Think carefully when you're making that choice. Because with the Lovers, once you burn that bridge, there's no going back. So if you end something with someone who is very important to you, but the only thing is you don't want to make any changes to yourself. You don't want to see where you need to change. Maybe the other person needs to change too, but both people need to change to make a relationship work. There has to be compromise. There has to be a meeting together somewhere. You have the Fool here, and it's in your negative thinking sector. So part of you is thinking, I don't know if a new beginning would help. Because sometimes the Fool can represent turning a new page with the same relationship. It's not always a brand new situation. It can mean, let's come together again. Let's pretend we just met. Let's do it over, and let's do it right this time. And then you have that opportunity. But your negative thinking is standing in the way. Like either you're doubting that's possible, or you don't think that there is any chance of a new beginning for yourself in this relationship. Now, in your environment, you have the Three of Wands. Three of Wands is, if you put effort into something, you're going to see the results. That's the Three of Wands, because the Ace is the seed. The Ace of Wands, you're planting the seed. The Two of Wands, there's a potential partnership. You're waiting to see what develops. When you get to the Three, that's the card of birth. That's the card of the results of your efforts. So if you do the work and you don't quit and you learn how to, maybe what you need to walk away from is not a person. Maybe you need to walk away from some past situation, release something from the past that's been blocking you. that's been stopping you from finding that fulfillment. You have the Seven of Swords here in your wish fulfillment sector. The Seven of Swords is about not facing the truth. Not wanting to sweep things under the rug, not wanting to face the truth in a relationship. Sometimes it can represent the Thief card, or someone has a hidden agenda. But I don't think that you may feel like, sometimes, when you get the Seven of Swords, you may feel like you can't trust your partner. Or are they being honest with me? Are they telling me? But it could also be you. Are you being honest? Are you being honest with yourself about this relationship and what you want from it? What do you want from this relationship? What do you want in any relationship? Are you can't sweep things under the rug. I feel like you really have to face the truth. It's a come to Jesus moment this month. You have the Two of Swords here. This is about indecision, being in a stalemate. So maybe you've had an argument with someone, or you're not talking, and you're waiting for the other person to reach out, and they're not reaching out. They're waiting for you to reach out. And you don't know what you want to do. You don't know how to fix things. So you're just going to sit there and sit it out. Don't wait too long. That's all I can say. This Four of Cups is saying you've got to take action to fix it. And if you don't take action to fix it, you might lose it. Or if you walk away, you may come up with the same problem in another form with another person. And with the Lovers here, the Lovers brings you have the ability to make a strong connection with someone. And you have the ability to have a new start. But it's going to involve releasing something from the past and changing the way you approach a situation, taking a new direction. The Fool is like going on a new path, turning the page, starting a new cycle, clearing out the old, planting seeds for a new cycle. Stop lying to yourself. And you have to face the truth. You have to have that conversation. You have to make a decision. That's what the cards are saying. But just remember, the decision you make will be final. Whatever it is, whether you stay and work it out, or whether you walk away and say, no, I can't do it. And if you walk away, you may regret it with the Lovers. Anyway, let's see what the angels have to say. What do the angels have to say about to Aries about June and this relationship situation? What does Aries need to know? Action. Well, that's a good card for an Aries. They're never afraid to take action. Drop all fear and just do it. You have the power to create and be whatever you truly want. Look inside your heart and take positive action in those things that bring you closer to achieving your desired goal. Nothing can stop you except your own fear. This card is positive confirmation from God and the angels that the time is right for you to start a new and exciting venture. And here it is, the Fool. It's time to take a new path. All right, let's see. What does the astrology have to say about this situation? So full moon, you're having a full moon in your 9th house. So the moon is in the 9th house, and the sun, which represents your ego, is in the 3rd house of communication. So it's time. The full moon's going to bring things to the surface. It always brings things. And the energy of Sagittarius and Gemini, it's about communication. It's about speaking your truth. And it's in your communication houses. So it's time to speak up. It's time to have those difficult conversations. It's time to Tell someone how you really feel. And it's also time with the moon in the ninth to believe, to have faith that speaking up will make a difference. Now, this moon is squaring Saturn in your 12th house. And the 12th house has to do with psychological blockages, fears, restrictions, hurdles to overcome. Saturn in the 12th is also the ending of a cycle. It's in the 12th house. It's time to release everything that's been holding you back. Release all that baggage. That's what this death card is saying. Release the baggage from the past. Release your fears. Release the blockages. And speak. Speak from the heart. The moon is trining Mars. And it's in your 5th house of romance, creativity, creative self-expression. Venus is, and so Mars is about taking action, having courage. So if there's someone that you need to communicate your love to, or take action towards someone, it's time. Now is the time to do it. Don't let fear hold you back from taking action and communicating how you feel. Venus is in your 4th house. She's going to be moving into Leo this month too, but right now she's in the 4th house of Cancer. It's about, and Cancer and the 4th house is about, home, family, nurturing. Venus is opposing Pluto, so there could be some power struggles within a friendship, within a group of friends, the groups you belong to, because you want to be nurtured. You want to create a home for yourself, a happy home where you're feeling loved, valued. With Pluto there could be some power struggles. Maybe you're feeling like you might be dealing with a manipulative person, or you might be the manipulator. One of you maybe has a power. You can have, like with Pluto in the 11th, you have powerful friends that can really make a difference in your life and help you transform. And maybe heal even some of the issues in the 4th house. Venus is trining Neptune. Now, you can't get more romantic than that. And Neptune is in your 12th house. So if you can overcome your fears and the blockages and work on that baggage, work on releasing the cycle that's been keeping you from finding love or being, really connecting with someone at the soul level. This could be very romantic, but just don't, with Neptune is strong in the 12th house, especially in Pisces. There's a spiritual component to this love. It's like a soulmate connection. So you have the potential to have a soulmate connection. But there's something holding you back. The moon is also trining Chiron. Chiron's in your 1st house. It's time for healing. And it's time to believe that that's possible. You're healing. You have this wound that you've been carrying around for a long time. It can be healed now if you're willing to face the truth and speak and communicate and talk about the things that maybe might feel difficult. Mercury is conjunct. Mercury is a planet of communication. It's conjunct Uranus, planet of surprise, planet of freedom, the planet of rebellion. It's in your 2nd house. That's the house of money and self-worth issues. So you could receive sudden news that makes you question. Could be something that has to do with finances. Jupiter's also there, so it could be good news. I mean, it's not all bad. Jupiter could bring in a financial opportunity or a windfall, especially with Mercury and Uranus there. Uranus in your 2nd house, your money is fluctuating, goes up and down. So if you're investing, one day, everything's great, next thing everything drops. It's very volatile right now. It's really hard to find financial security right now. Your investments may be going all over the place. But Mercury conjunct Uranus is a bolt from the blue. a message that you may not be expecting coming in. And also Venus is squaring Jupiter. So maybe you're spending a lot of money on your home or things around the home, trying to, like when Venus is in your 4th house, you're trying to create a home for yourself. So you're trying to create this beautiful environment that's your sanctuary, where you feel loved and nurtured. You might be spending too much on things. So there could be some, like you got to cut back. Because Jupiter squaring Venus is excess. Don't go overboard when it comes to that. But Jupiter is conjunct the North Node. So really, you need to work on your self-esteem this month. What do I value? What do I deserve when it comes to money and love? Have I been settling for too little? Or, because the 2nd house has to do with security. What makes me feel secure? What do I need to feel secure and safe? Is it money? Most people think it's money. Is it love? Have I been settling for too little? Do I value myself enough to think that someone could love me? These are the questions that come up. Jupiter is also squaring Pluto. It's an out of sign, it's kind of an out of sign square. Well, Pluto's at 0 degrees Aquarius. It's moving back into Capricorn, but it's still in there. And Jupiter is, so when Jupiter squares Pluto, you may find it hard to get your point across. You feel like people don't understand you. You're trying to explain something to people and they don't get it. They just don't get it. So if communication is difficult, you're trying to tell people what you need. Maybe you're telling a friend what you need and they're not getting it. They're not getting it. And you're like frustrated. They don't understand what you need. Jupiter is also sextile Saturn. So Jupiter always, it increases and it brings luck it increases whatever it touches, and sometimes it brings luck to a situation or opportunity. So Jupiter sextile Saturn in the 12th. Now is the time, if you've ever wanted to work on healing, psychological issues, feelings of self-worth, bringing more abundance, like releasing the baggage that's been preventing you from being prosperous, from being loved, from feeling confident and secure and all that. Now is the time to do it. Jupiter sextile Saturn is a positive thing for manifesting. But you have to believe, you have to have faith with Jupiter, and you have to speak your truth. So then we have this new moon. Let me see. Saturn's going to go retrograde on the 17th, so that you may need to revisit some of the things that you've been working on. So maybe you make some progress, and then you have to backtrack and go over it, rethink it. It would be a great time for counseling. That's all I can say. And getting at those blind spots that only everyone else can see but you. So then we have the new moon in Gemini, and that's in your 3rd house of communication, siblings, relatives, the next, your neighborhood. You have a chance for a new beginning, a new way of communicating. Maybe you need to, you can communicate with, if you've had a falling out with brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, maybe you start talking to them again. Mercury is there in the 3rd house. It's time to speak up. It's time to, even if you do, write it down. Write a letter, write poetry, do something. Mercury is about communication, telling the story. Maybe it's time to tell your story. The new moon is also sextile the North Node. So it's really the 2nd house. It's time to speak up. And what do you need to say to communicate? This moon is also squaring Neptune in the 12th house. So you want to make sure you're not fooling yourself, because Neptune can bring delusional thinking. Or, rose-colored glasses thinking. So this new moon, Venus and Mars, will be in your 5th house. That's very positive for love. Venus and Mars are the cosmic lovers. So if you ever wanted to have a romantic encounter, this is the time to do it at this new moon. But you may have to, and you may meet, if you're not with anyone, you might meet them just running around the neighborhood or through your relatives, through community. But also, if you're with someone, communication can help heal a relationship. And you can have like a renaissance, a new beginning. But a lot of the issues revolve around what you value, self-esteem issues, self-worth. Pluto's in your 10th house now. It's moved back into the 10th house because Pluto went retrograde. And now it's back in Capricorn. So it's going to change. You're thinking about changing your life direction. If you've wanted to make changes in your life, Pluto in the 10th can help. You can change from being single to married, married to single. You could change your career in a big way. The 10th house is your public house. It's your career, your life direction. And so Pluto's giving you one last chance, because it's going to be in Capricorn from now until January, when it moves into Aquarius permanently for the next 20 years. We just got a little taste. So Pluto is saying, where do you want to go from here? It's time to make major changes. And it's time to communicate, speak up. You can't keep repeating the same pattern. Pluto wants you to change. And to go deep. Deep-seated patterns. Especially because it's angular, it's in your 10th house. And you have Chiron in the 1st house. Mars is squaring Uranus and trining Chiron. Mars is your ruling planet. It's very significant. So, squaring Uranus, there could be some surprises around the things that you value. Could be financial gains or losses. I think it's more likely gains because Jupiter's there. But also, Mars is trining Chiron in your 1st house, the healer, the wounded healer. This is a time for healing. I mean, if you're open to healing, and if you're open to confronting things that you have always been afraid to face in the past, you could really transform your life in a major way right now. But it all revolves around communication. And it revolves around seeing your blind spots, dealing with the blind spots, dealing with psychological issues, dealing with issues around self-worth and value, what you value. If you can confront all that and talk about it, you're on the road to healing. You can have a brand new start, either with someone new, a new relationship if you're not with someone, or a renaissance in a rebirth in an existing relationship where you're dropping old baggage and old patterns of behavior and you're starting a new cycle that leads to a stronger connection. So, I think I've gone a little bit long on this reading, but there was a lot of stuff to say. So, but that's my reading. That's my forecast for June. Major transformation, major changes, putting you on a new path where you can really accomplish a lot of healing and having a stronger connection. But you have to have that Aries courage to take action and face those things you didn't want to face in the past. So that's my reading, Aries. If you enjoyed the reading, click on the like button. Click on the subscribe button. It'll help the channel. Leave a comment. Let me know how this reading resonated with you. If you'd like a private reading, click on the link in the description box. It'll take you to my website, and we will get you on the schedule. In the meantime, have a wonderful June, and I will talk to you again next month. Okay, bye now.